Chosen owns. God is trying to reach you. You passed his test. Now listen. There comes a moment in every chosen life when silence is not emptiness. It is instruction. When doors close, when voices fade, when nothing seems to respond to your prayers, it is easy to believe you have been forgotten. But what if that was never rejection? What if it was preparation? Chosen one. God was not absent in your struggle. He was present in disguise, shaping you through every delay, every disappointment, every test you thought you were failing. And now, in this very season, something shifts. The resistance you once felt begins to break. The confusion starts to clear, because you didn't just survive the test, you passed it. And passing the test means one thing: now you must listen. Not with fear, not with doubt, but with the awareness that what comes next is guidance, direction, and divine alignment. God is trying to reach you, not through noise, but through clarity. What you called pain was never meant to destroy you. It was designed to develop you. Every moment you thought you were being punished was actually a hidden process of preparation unfolding in your life. Chosen one, understand this clearly. God does not waste suffering on those he has marked for purpose. The delays you faced were not denials. They were divine arrangements shaping your character, strengthening your endurance, and refining your spirit for what you once prayed for but were not yet ready to carry. When life stripped things away from you, people, comfort, certainty, it was not abandonment, it was alignment. You were being separated from distractions so you could be trained in silence, in patience, in resilience. Because what God is preparing you for cannot be handled by a weak version of you. It requires a version of you that has been through fire, yet refuses to break, a version of you that has been pressed, yet refuses to quit, a version of you that has been tested, yet still believes. And in those seasons where nothing made sense, where prayers felt unanswered and doors remained closed, something deeper was happening beneath the surface. You were being rebuilt. Every tear you cried was not wasted. It was watering the foundation of your future strength. Every betrayal you endured was teaching you discernment. Every delay was teaching you patience. Every disappointment was removing illusion and replacing it with wisdom. You were not falling apart. You were being reconstructed into someone who can carry the weight of destiny without collapsing under it. That is why the process felt heavy. That is why it felt lonely. Because preparation is not comfortable, but it is necessary. God was not breaking you to leave you broken. He was breaking illusions, breaking fear, breaking dependency on things that could not go with you into your next level. So when you look back now, do not you see wasted time. See divine engineering. You were never forgotten in your struggle. You were being formed within it. And the very things you thought were meant to end you were actually designed to elevate you. Now you stand in a moment of realization. Nothing you went through was random. It was all preparation for where you are going next. Not everyone goes through what you went through, and that is not because you were unlucky. It is because you were chosen. God does not test people without purpose. He tests those. He is preparing for elevation. The weight you carried, the silence you endured, the battles you fought in private were not random struggles. They were divine examinations of your spirit, your faith, your obedience, and your endurance. Chosen one, understand this. Before promotion comes pressure, before authority comes testing, and before breakthrough comes the proving ground. God never raises someone without first refining them. And refinement always feels like resistance before it becomes revelation. There were moments when you questioned why everything seemed harder for you than for others. You saw people moving easily while you were being stretched, pressed, and stretched again. But what you did not realize is that ease is not always a blessing. Sometimes it is delay in disguise, because those who are called higher must be built stronger, and strength is not given, it is forged through fire. Every obstacle you faced was carefully placed, not to destroy you, but to reveal what is inside you. Would you still trust when nothing made sense? Would you still believe when nothing changed? Would you still move forward when everything told you to stop? These were not punishments. They were questions written into your journey by God Himself. And in every test, something within you was being measured, not by human standards, but by divine design. Your faith was being stretched beyond comfort. Your patience was being expanded beyond logic. Your obedience was being refined beyond emotion. Because God is not impressed by words alone. He is moved by endurance. He watches how you respond when nothing responds to you. He watches how you behave in silence, in waiting, in uncertainty, and in those unseen moments when no one was clapping for you, when no one understood you, when no one supported you. He was watching closely, not to judge you, but to prepare you. And now you stand at a threshold where the test is no longer about survival. It is about readiness. The very things that once broke you are no longer breaking you. The storms that once confused you are no longer shaking you the same way. That is how you know something has changed. You have been refined through pressure, shaped through delay, and strengthened through endurance. And because you passed the test, you are now positioned for elevation. But remember this: elevation is not just reward, it is responsibility. God is not just lifting you, He is trusting you. There is a kind of silence that is not empty, it is sacred. And chosen one, you have been inside that silence longer than you thought you could survive. The moments when prayers seemed unanswered, when guidance felt distant, when confusion replaced clarity, were not signs of abandonment. They were invitations into deeper awareness. Because God does not always speak through noise, emotion, or external confirmation. Often, He speaks in the stillness, where distractions are removed and only truth remains. And if you are honest with yourself, you will realize that it was in your quietest seasons that your deepest understanding began to form. When everything around you stopped responding, something within you started awakening. That is how divine communication works. It does not always shout, it reveals. It reveals slowly, quietly, and with precision that only a prepared heart can recognize. In the silence, illusions fall away. You begin to see people, situations, and even your own desires more clearly. What once looked like loss begins to reveal itself as protection. What once felt like delay begins to show itself as timing. What once felt like confusion begins to align into meaning. And this transformation does not happen in chaos. It happens in stillness. Because silence forces you to confront what noise was hiding. It strips away distractions so you can finally hear what has been there all along: direction, correction, and divine instruction. Chosen one, you were never truly disconnected. You were simply being recalibrated. God was not absent in your silence. He was amplifying your sensitivity so you could recognize Him in ways you never did before. And there is something powerful about a person who has learned to sit in silence without panic. Because most people rush to fill silence with answers, opinions, or distractions. But those who are chosen are trained differently. They learn to wait, to observe, to listen beyond what is spoken. And in that waiting, something extraordinary happens. Clarity begins to rise from within. You start to realize that not every question needs immediate answers, because some answers are revealed through process, not information. Some directions are not spoken, they are felt deeply and unmistakably, in the quiet alignment of your spirit. So, if you have been in a season where nothing seems loud anymore, where everything feels paused or unclear, do not assume you are lost. You are being tuned. You are being brought into alignment with divine frequency. And when that alignment completes, you will recognize that the silence was never empty. It was full of instruction. God was speaking the entire time, but only the prepared heart can hear Him in stillness. There are moments in your life that, when you look back honestly, should not have ended the way they did. Situations that were heavy enough to crush your spirit, disappointments that were deep enough to change your identity, and battles that were intense enough to make you believe you would not make it through. Yet here you are, still standing, still breathing, still moving forward, even if slowly. And that is not ordinary. It is evidence. Evidence that something greater than circumstance has been protecting, preserving, and guiding you through every unseen moment. Chosen one, your survival is not coincidence. It is confirmation that your life is under divine assignment. You went through what many would not have endured, not because you are stronger in your own ability, but because there is a strength within you that is not your own. There were times when you reached your limit, when you felt emotionally exhausted, mentally overwhelmed, and spiritually uncertain. And in those exact moments, something held you together. Something kept you from completely falling apart. That something was not luck. It was alignment with a purpose you have not fully seen yet. Because when God places a calling on a life, He also places preservation over it. That means even your lowest moments were still within the boundaries of divine protection. And the most powerful part is this: what was meant to break you did not succeed. It may have bent you, it may have pressured you, it may have even changed the way you see life, but it did not destroy you. Instead, it revealed a version of you that could only be discovered under pressure, a stronger version, a wiser version, a more aware version. Because some strengths are not born in comfort, they are revealed in survival. And what you survived was not random. It was preparation disguised as pressure. There were moments when you thought you were losing everything, but in reality, you were losing what could not go with you into your next season: people, places, expectations, attachments, things that once felt necessary were slowly removed. And although it hurt, it was shaping your path. Because survival is not just about making it through, it is about being refined through what you made it through. And now, when you look at yourself, you may not even fully recognize how much you have changed. But that change is proof that you did not just survive. You evolved. So understand this clearly. You were not spared for nothing. You were preserved for purpose. And everything you endured is now becoming the foundation for everything you are stepping into. There is a shift that happens after every divine test, and most people never recognize it. They think survival is the end of the journey, when in reality, survival is only the beginning of responsibility. Chosen one, you have been carried through seasons that tested your faith, stretched your endurance, and refined your spirit. And now that you are still standing, something deeper is being required from you. Not just awareness, not just gratitude, but obedience. Because passing the test was never the final goal. It was the preparation for instruction. And instruction only becomes powerful when it is followed. God does not bring you through storms just to let you remain unchanged afterward. Every experience you endured was meant to lead you somewhere specific, not just emotionally healed, but spiritually aligned. That alignment now demands movement. It demands that you stop waiting for perfect conditions and start responding to divine direction. Because clarity is not always loud. It often arrives as a quiet knowing, a pull in your spirit, a consistent awareness that you can no longer ignore. And when that awareness persists, it is no longer confusion. It is instruction. Obedience after testing is different from obedience before testing. Before the test, you obey with uncertainty. After the test, you obey with understanding. You no longer move because you hope it is right. You move because you have seen enough, been through enough, and grown enough to recognize alignment. And that is where many chosen ones hesitate. They become comfortable in survival mode. They celebrate endurance but resist movement. But God does not call you to remain in the place where you were tested. He calls you to step into the place where you are meant to function. And here is the truth that many miss. Delayed obedience is still resistance. Because when God speaks after the test, it is not for discussion, it is for direction. You are not being asked to figure everything out. You are being asked to trust what has already been revealed within you. The same presence that carried you through the test is the same presence now guiding you forward. And what comes next requires courage, not the kind that survives, but the kind that responds. So now you stand at a threshold. Behind you is evidence that you can endure. Ahead of you is instruction that requires action. And the bridge between the two is obedience. Not forced obedience, not fearful obedience, but aligned obedience. The kind that understands you are not starting from confusion anymore. You are starting from confirmation. The test is over, but the journey is not. Now it is time to move.